In a very dramatic recent turn of events, Jagmeet Singh, leader of the NDP, comes out and threatens Justin Trudeau, saying, "You better do something because this is unacceptable." Jagmeet has actually read the unredacted NSICOP foreign interference report, and we're going to be taking a look at what he has to say in this video. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Before we get into it, I want to encourage you all to smash the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. It does really help grow the channel. I hope you're prepared for this, because not only does he threaten Justin Trudeau, he also takes some shots at Pierre Poilievre, saying that he's not doing everything that he should be doing. But let's watch this together, and then you can decide on how you feel about this. Here we go.
I am more alarmed today than I was yesterday after having read the report. What is clear to me is that Justin Trudeau knew and didn't act, and Pierre Poilievre doesn't even want to know about serious allegations touching his party. To me, that disqualifies him as a leader, and I do not buy his phony excuses. Both Justin Trudeau and Pierre Poilievre are putting the interests of their party ahead of the country, and that is wrong.
Okay, so first of all, the only person that's putting their own self-interest ahead of the entire country, well, the main one is this guy right here, Jagmeet Singh. We all know, it's been confirmed, not just through YouTubers, not through independent reports, but even mainstream media, that the only reason, the literal only reason that Jagmeet Singh has not cut off the coalition and called a snap election is because he wants his own personal pension. That's greed. That's narcissism. He is trying to act on his own best behalf to secure financial stability and freedom for himself and his family, right? For the next remainder of his entire life, by having the rest of the country suffer under the Justin Trudeau regime. That is not okay, Jagmeet. And if you were serious as a politician, as a leader, as a party leader, then you would do what needs to be done, and you would step down, or you would have a snap election called. So very bizarre that he's using that specific phrasing, but let's continue.
Foreign interference is harmful to Canadians. It is especially harmful to people connected to countries like India and China, who are the most frequent practitioners of foreign interference. People should be free to speak their minds, disagree with foreign governments, advocate for policies, run for office, exercise their vote, and be free from intimidation and harassment. At its extreme, foreign interference can result in violence, as we have seen with the alleged involvement of India in the murder of a Canadian on Canadian soil. Today, I'm going to speak to you about my impressions and opinions based on the unredacted report from NSICOP on foreign interference. I'm not going to discuss the details from that report, like the names. I'm not going to do that because to do so could jeopardize the ability of our national security systems to do the work that we need them to do to keep us safe, to safeguard our democracy. It is important to say that while I have seen the unredacted report, I did not have access to all the same intelligence that the members of the NSICOP committee had when they came to their conclusions. But after having read the report, I am more convinced than ever of the conclusions of the NSICOP committee and the report, that some parliamentarians are, in the words of the intelligence services, semi-witting or witting participants in the efforts of foreign states to interfere in our politics. That all of these behaviors of these MPs are deeply unethical and contrary to the oaths and affirmations parliamentarians take to conduct themselves in the best interest of Canada. In short, there are a number of MPs who have knowingly provided help to foreign governments, some to the detriment of Canada and Canadians. There are also politicians at all levels of government who have benefited from foreign interference. Some of this behavior absolutely appears to be criminal and should be prosecuted. The redacted report also discusses the Conservative leadership contests, which were the targets of foreign interference by China and India. The Prime Minister has had access to intelligence that raises concerns about MPs knowingly benefiting from foreign interference. He may disagree with that intelligence, but I believe he has not taken the steps he should have to deal with this. He has sent the message that he is willing to accept some level of foreign interference. The leader of the opposition has had information for 10 days that conservative leadership races were the target of foreign interference by India, a country that is also alleged to have killed a Canadian on Canadian soil.
A country that has also banned Jagmeet Singh from ever entering, or else he will be subject to arrest. Kind of crazy and very convenient for him to leave that part out.
As well as interference from China. His response has been silence. He's not answered a single question from the media. We do not know if anyone from the Conservative Party has followed up on these concerns. And he refuses to get security clearance to get further information that could help him know what happened and what he can do about it. He doesn't want to know, and that is deeply troubling. No one should put their party's interests ahead of the country's interests. Canada comes first.
See, nobody, not a single person who's listening to this is now going, wow, Jagmeet has a point. You won me over. I support you instead of supporting Pierre Poilievre. Not a single person. The reason why Pierre Poilievre does not want to look at this report is because it's not, he doesn't view it as a leader as it's his right and only his right to view the report. He thinks that if he should see it, there's absolutely no reason, there's no national security breach for all of us Canadians to see the names of those MPs that have committed treason or espionage or a form of one of those things, right? It doesn't make any sense. And again, you've seen the report, Jagmeet. Why don't you tell us who the names are?
I am not relieved after reading this report. I am more concerned today than I was yesterday. This government has received multiple repeated warnings and recommendations and has not acted. Today, Canada is vulnerable to foreign interference, and this weakens our democracy and the confidence of Canadians. I believe we must find a way to let MPs who are named in this report know that we know what they're up to. I believe this can be done in a way that doesn't compromise national security.
See, again, now this is a direct contradiction to what Dizzy Lizzy said, the leader of the Green Party, the other day, how there are no list of names. Now Jagmeet says that there are people being named in the report, therefore there's a list. It's so contradicting and it's so annoying. These people are all playing a form of political theater with us. I mean, these are people that will eventually, could potentially be on another ballot. And they know, they have information, they see the names on an official report that says this person has been paid by China, paid by Indian operatives, whatever it is, foreign interference, corruption, treason of the highest form, and they could be on a ballot here in Canada. Why aren't we doing it? Are they people of color? Are they women? Is it sexist? Is it racist to call them out for what they're doing? Like, absolutely not. It's treason. It wasn't too long ago that people got murdered and hung for treason here in Canada. Like actually, people got penalized with the death penalty for treason. So it's insane for this tight-knit group to keep this shit to themselves. Release it to the public.
If there continues to be no consequences for MPs who knowingly help foreign governments act against Canadian interests, we will continue to be an easy target. Removing MPs who knowingly participate in foreign interference would have the deterring effect on this type of behavior. It would send a message that these countries cannot try to use MPs in this manner. I'm ready for any questions you might have.
Was Elizabeth May wrong? Because she said she was relieved.
Now, I'm responding to the details or my opinion based on the report that I read. The unredacted or the redacted version that Canadians have access to alone should have raised serious concerns and should have maintained those concerns. The redacted version of this report makes it very clear that the Prime Minister knew about this and that there's serious allegations directly impugning the Conservative Party and Conservative Party leadership races, and Pierre Poilievre doesn't want to know. Those should already be seriously concerning. What I read has only bolstered the conclusions that NCCOP report outlines, has only made those conclusions even more concrete.
Mr. Singh, why are you saying the Prime Minister is not willing to take action in the face of what he knows?
Based on what is already publicly available, we saw that he was slow to act and accepted a certain level of foreign interference. That has been confirmed by the report, and it shows unwillingness to take this as seriously as it should be taken. And the fact that Pierre Poilievre doesn't even want to know makes it clear that both of these individuals, Justin Trudeau and Pierre Poilievre, are putting the interests of their party ahead of the country, and that's wrong.
What parties are these MPs associated with? And you're saying MPs, so I'm presuming that they are currently sitting, correct?
I can't respond directly to those two questions, but I can say that there are serious concerns about MPs. That was the conclusion of the NCCOP report. After having read the unredacted version, I am more convinced than ever of the conclusions of the report that is absolutely true.
Was there anything in the unredacted report that was connected to you personally?
I was a target.
Whoa! Holy shit! That is not how somebody who is scot-free of any sort of affiliation to treason would answer that. Were you mentioned? Not in a good way, or that pause, I gotta listen to that again. That pause was insane.
Was there anything in the unredacted report that was connected to you personally?
I was a target.
Wow. I think that this needs to be further investigated. He's sitting here spearing Pierre Poilievre and the Conservative Party, but mostly the leader, Pierre himself, on how he is not fit to be a leader because he doesn't want to view this report and yada, yada, yada. And it turns out that our good friend, sellout Jagmeet Singh, might actually be in this report, not in a good way. He was a target. How much money did you get? That looks like an expensive Rolex. I don't think that people who make your money, Jagmeet, your salary, are usually have your high of a net worth and have this many shiny things, buddy. Millionaires have Rolexes, not people that make 150 grand a year. It's kind of unusual. I mean, maybe, sure, yeah, if you have a good investment, but again, it just seems a little suspicious. I feel like Jagmeet might be in a little bit of trouble himself.
Expand on that?
Appropriate for Nikki Ashton to take her family to Quebec City.
How are you a target?
The report indicated that I was a target.
Is it time to walk? Our democracy is on the line. Is it time to walk away from your affiliation with the Liberal Party, Liberal government?
What the report indicates to me is that this is something that's very serious and should be alarming to all Canadians, and that it requires action. And so what I want to do is, I think that first of all, every leader of a political party should read the unredacted version. We should talk about how we can take the necessary steps as leaders to ensure that each of our parties are protected from interference in this manner. And we should continue to do the work in committee like we're doing, pushing for the public inquiry to also include the Conservative Party leadership races. We should, as leaders, meet and discuss how we are ensuring that none of our candidates that are running, so that we can ensure that our democracy is protected.
Why
Mr. Singh, was it appropriate?
Oh my goodness. This is exactly why. This is the exact predicament that Pierre Poilievre would find himself in. You are under strict obligations to not open your mouth and divulge certain information once you've seen this report. That itself would be a crime of the highest level here in Canada. So Jagmeet Singh has now become his own worst enemy because he can't talk freely about it. He can't speculate. He can't name call. He can't point fingers. He can't do any of that stuff. Except now he's going to play victimhood. I was a target. I was a target. How are you a target from foreign interference? Did they approach you? You never once said anything? You never raised any awareness? Or is your like you being an accomplice of treason, is that now being brought to light and you're calling it being a victimhood because you got caught doing something that you weren't supposed to? Very, very, very bizarre. In the past, I think Michael Chong or something like that from the Conservative Party, he said that he's been approached and intimidated by members of the Chinese Communist Party. He came out right away when that said that. Hey, whoa, these guys are attacking me. This isn't cool. And it ran in the media. It ran in headlines, right? Conservative MP targeted by China. Why, if Jagmeet has been a target, why hasn't he said anything? Why does he have to wait for his name to appear in an unredacted report for him to be like, oh, I guess I was a target? You either know or you don't know. Very bizarre, very suspicious. And it's just crazy. I think that Jagmeet might actually be guilty of a form of treason or espionage. And that's why he's trying to get Pierre Poilievre to read this so that Pierre has to keep his mouth shut the same way that Jagmeet does about what's actually on that unredacted report.
That are criminal in nature. Why do you say that?
Well, this was the conclusion of the NZCOP report that's publicly available as well. It was just confirmed upon reading the unredacted version. I can say that conclusion, I'm fully convinced that is absolutely true.
Are you comfortable knowing what you know?
I'll give you this one.
Well, you go next.
Do you have any comment on Nikki Ashton taking her family to Quebec City over Christmas and billing taxpayers $17,000 for that trip?
All MPs have to follow very strict rules in submitting their expenses to the House of Commons. Those I expect all my MPs and all MPs in the House to follow those rules and submit claims. Those claims were submitted and approved.
Why are you comfortable? Sorry, I let you go, so it's my turn. Are you comfortable sitting in the House knowing what you know, and is there a list of MPs in the unredacted report?
Well, the redacted version also suggests there's MPs, so that's publicly available, and that's confirmed by the unredacted version. So certainly it is clear that there are MPs, plural. That was available publicly, and that's confirmed in the unredacted version as well. So it is very serious, and this matter is not in any way addressed, and that's why I said I'm not relieved at all, in fact, I am more disturbed today than I am yesterday. I'm more disturbed by what I've learned, and it really does highlight to me the failure of leadership of both Justin Trudeau and Pierre Poilievre. Deeply concerning failures of leadership. Like, I don't understand, after having read that report, why Justin Trudeau didn't act sooner and continues to show inaction, and why Pierre Poilievre, as I am, a prospective candidate to become Prime Minister of this country, why he expects that people should have trust in him when he doesn't want to know about very disturbing allegations directly connected to his party, that India, among other countries, were involved in foreign interference in leadership races. The fact that he doesn't want to know and has been silent, I believe, very firmly disqualifies him as a prospective leader of this country. Disqualifies him entirely.
I don't think this is as good of a look for Jagmeet as that he might think it is. I think that this has backfired tremendously, and the reason why he won't cut off any coalition right now is because Trudeau is helping him. I mean, he's getting obviously a lot of his pointers from the other biggest corrupt, or the biggest corrupt party in all of Canada, the Liberals, and the fact that his name is on that list is insane. So now we know. Now we know that Jagmeet Singh is likely one of the MPs who has committed a form of treason. This is juicy stuff, folks. You can't make this up.
So your conclusion is very different from what Ms. May said yesterday. She seemed relieved yesterday. You say it's worse. Were you reading two different reports?
Well, what I'm saying to you is that the conclusion that NZCOP has come with, those conclusions didn't change by anyone's reading of it. The conclusions are still there for the public to read. The conclusions are MPs, plural, were engaged in activities that NZCOP, which is comprised of very, very respectable members of Parliament and other individuals, That conclusion says that the multiple MPs engage in behavior that is, in some cases, illegal and criminal, and all the behavior is unethical. Those conclusions that the report has publicly given to everybody, I believe, were incredibly confirmed with further details that I read. So the conclusions are there in front of everybody. I'm saying that I've read the document that supports those conclusions, and in fact, I am more convinced than ever of those conclusions.
Our democracy is at stake here. So why are you continuing to prop up the government who you say isn't taking democracy seriously? Why do you continue to prop them up?
So the question is, what are we going to do about it?
No,
the question
is,
to
why
me.
do you continue to prop up the government when you say our democracy is at stake and this government is not taking our democracy seriously?
Holy shit.
Why continue to back them up?
We're not at all doing that. What we're saying is we're going to demand answers. We're going to continue to push for solutions. Because we're in Parliament right now, I was able to read these documents. Because we're in Parliament now, we've been able to push for a letter to have the public inquiry also include the Conservative leadership race in a part of the public inquiry's work. We want to use the tools as parliamentarians, as a parliamentarian myself, to use the tools that we have, that I have, to advance democracy. I want to use the tools that I have to get to the bottom of this. The suggestion that an election is a solution to election interference is, I think, a fallacy. What we need to do is use the tools we have to get to the bottom of this. I want to continue to push for more solutions. I want to push for more transparency. I want to push to learn more so we can have better solutions.
The fact that you don't want to call an election but continue to criticize Trudeau, saying he's a failed leader, is an illogical fallacy. You freaking moron. Oh my goodness. Well, I guess this is breaking news, or a form of it, because Jagmeet's body language, his tone of voice, his wording, his facial expressions, everything is screaming that he is guilty and complicit of something that would otherwise put him in jail for a very long time. And this has been speculated for a tremendous amount of time, not even weeks or months, but years. So it's going to be just a little bit longer before we actually get the rest of those names and we find out either via a leak or whether it gets unredacted for the public to see what the hell is actually going on. This is some crazy stuff. Like, Canada, I never ever would have imagined that this is where our democracy would be, that this is where our politicians would find themselves. I know there's greed has run rampant in politics for a very long time. I know that there's corruption has run rampant. We all know these things. But for foreign interference to be the main headline, not for weeks, not for months, but for years, foreign interference has been the subject of conversation here in Canada, is absolutely insane. And a lot of the party leaders are not come out of this without scratches and bruises and reputations that are just going to follow them for the rest of their life. But that's where we're going to end this video, folks. I would love to know what you guys think down below in the comments. It's going to be very interesting to see how the polls, the opinion polls, are reflected with this new information. I think that the NDP might actually go down. I think this is really going to backfire on Jagmeet Singh and Justin Trudeau in the coming days and weeks. On your way out, I'd like to encourage you guys to smash the like button, subscribe if you haven't yet already, and we will see you in the next one. Bye for now.